how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the counselor's office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Scholars! I was not here for the live developer reaction, though I did see people in the waiting chat before I had to go to work. And a lot of people were like up and down about it. We're going to find out whether it is ass or cash. Act 2. Are we going to be excited for it? Or is it going to be another situation where it's the nether where you do it and then you find out there's only 3 rotations and then it gets boring because most of the time you're just in a patrol zone and you're like, oh, well, this is fun. I know that sounds overly negative, but I have spent so much time in the nether. Like, that tells you I spent more time in the nether and I don't actually like enjoy the nether more than Onslaught and Tomb Contest of Elders from Revenant. Like, I enjoy those activities 10 times more than the nether, but I have spent more time in the nether than those activities because the loot is crisp. Mwah. So I'm hoping that we get more crispy loot. Joke, I already know what the loot is, and I'm excited. I already know because you look at like GG. So we're going to find out. We're going to see what to expect in Act 2 in the next week. Oh, hold on. I do want to include chat. You get to be included in this reaction. So react away. That's right. React away, chat. We're starting off fresh. You get to participate. All right, here we go.
Guardians, hello.
Time out. This is my react. I did not make a Destiny bingo, so I'm going to name off the things and we'll see if we would have gotten a bingo. DMG makes stupid joke about something serious. MTX, Bungie throws MTX in cash grab somehow. Something D1 comes back. I'm going to plot twist. I already know that there's the strike from Destiny 1's coming back because it was in Bungie leaks. So I already know what that is. But I mean, other D1 stuff coming back. You get it. Let's see. What's the stereotypical? Completely ignoring the main issues of the game and the fact that things are breaking. What else would it be on my bingo card? What else? So we got the MTX. We've got the... Yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. That's my main bingo card. Not a lot to choose from.
Good to see you all again. Welcome back to beautiful Bungie HQ here in Bellevue, Washington, where we come to you from a crisp, cold morning to share a little bit of what's to come with Heresy Act 2, and just for fun, a little bit of a sneak peek to what's to come with Act 3 as well.
Okay, cool.
My name's Andy. I work on the social media team here, and worry not, we've got, as usual, an amazing cast of guests to go ahead and walk through some of the
bad gameplay. We will see. I don't know, like, Nether was a combination of things that we already... Oh, how about we just group that as the same-o, like an activity that's literally comprised of things that we've already done. I'm going to just say Menagerie 2.0.
The finer details of what you're going to be seeing today. So, as always, there's no time like the present. Let's go ahead and dive on in and get them introduced so we can go ahead and show you what we got in store. Here, sitting to my left, up first, is someone who, if you joined us last time, is someone that you may have already known. Sorry, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure we get right into your intro. Someone that you may already know, narrative architect here at Bungie, the one and only Mr. Okay. Nico Stevens. Nico, how's he?
I want to say right now, don't really know who he is, don't care, but the narrative has been very loose the past episodes. Like, if he's the architect of Echoes and Revenant, then he is the person one of the people I'm going to blame for the shit that we've gotten in the past year. Like, screw you, dude.
How's it going today, man?
It's going great. Thanks for having me, Andy. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well. Thank you. I appreciate it. So for anyone that maybe didn't join us last time or isn't aware of what a narrative architect does, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Sure. So like I said, my name's Nico Stevens. I'm narrative architect at Bungie. I've been here since Season of Dawn, and basically I contribute to all of the stories that people play through, whether it's text, lore, gun names, building out the actual beats of the story. And as the architect, more recently, what I've been doing is kind of putting together the player journey, as we call it, that the player experiences as they go through the beats of like a main campaign.
Yeah. So you're tugging
Okay, so we can blame. You're saying we can blame you for the shitty fan fiction of Echoes, and then just the speed clear of Revenant, where there was some core story that was just rushed. You're one of the people to blame. Got you.
Our heartstrings months in advance at times. Oh. Excellent. Well, thank you. It's been a lot of heartstring tugging so far this episode. Sitting next to him, we have a new face joining us today, a senior designer here at Bungie, Quentin Quinones-Resin. Quentin, how's it going, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here on the couch.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time to join us. This is your first time joining us, so
what do you do?
Quickly, second verse same as the first. For anyone that doesn't know you or doesn't get the privilege of working with you here at Bungie, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Sure. Yeah, I am an activity designer. I've been with Bungie since the Beyond Light expansion, and I've worked on, for example, the Altars of Summoning activity in Season of the Witch, and the Breach executable from episode Echoes.
Very exciting. And of course, some more stuff will be.
I'm going to say nothing to really go home and tell mom about, but they're also not the worst activities we've had, so.
Diving into here just very shortly. And then, of course, sitting just next to him, a man that is a friend to all Guardian kind and needs no introduction. So we're not going to give him one. Let's go into the show. I'm just kidding.
Thank God. No, seriously.
Sitting next to him is, of course, the incomparable one and only Mr. Dylan Gaffner, Global Community Lead here at Bungie. Dylan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for your 15-minute Rick Kakis intro.
Damn! The shade.
Very much looking forward to it.
I tried to edit it down, as you can tell. So for anyone that may not have worked with you or your team in the wild world of social media or is just somehow meeting you.
That was funny. Listen, DMG is usually just the most insufferable person with this stupid ass like jokes that are based on like actual criticism. That was funny.
For the first time, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Yeah, so Dylan Gaffner, DMG04, as many know, Breadmaster, the guy that says we're listening. Yeah.
All right, we're back to making a joke out of something seriously. Wow, give you some credit and you go back to it.
Ultimately, I'm a community lead here for Destiny, top of the team where we run all the TWIDs, we make sure Guardians are informed, we take your feedback, pass it along to the dev team.
Sometimes.
But most importantly, we try to act as like the seat at the table for players. So if there's feedback, if there's conversation around something, or, oh hey, excitement around activities, we make sure that voice is heard in all the meetings that we go to.
Excellent. Well, thank you as always for being a voice of the player here in our hallowed halls. We do appreciate it. And in addition to these fine folks, we're also going to have some other folks joining us throughout the show. It's a pretty jam-packed one, so we'll make sure to introduce them as they come along. But worry not, that's just not me summoning them into existence. We have a ton of folks here to show you what's in store. So let's go ahead and kick things off. Nico, I'd love to go ahead and start with you. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and be concluding Act 1 of episode Heresy here very briefly and leading into Act 2.
We already completed Act 1. It was 15 minutes. There was literally 15 minutes of story.
Before we kick off Act 2, can you just tell us a little bit about what got us here today?
Yeah, so as people who've been playing know, we had an Echo that came from the Pale Heart, came screaming out from the death of the witness, slammed into the...
I'm just skipping ahead.
Story as we dive in.
Lightless Hunter to Shish Kebab.
How did
I don't care.
And exploring the Dreadnought more.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're
this
going
is
to
what
be
we care about.
picking up some of these messages and hopefully being able to reach beyond that and see what's on the other side.
Yeah.
And for our eagle-eyed players who played through the first act and saw that cutscene where Eris died, they see her wake up in this ascendant world, very much resembling a throne world.
Interesting. Yeah, there's been some education.
Which is funny that they literally spoiled, like, talk about removing all impact of her death just by, like, hey guys, psych, she's not dead. Like, the story would have been such a banger if they left us on that cliffhanger of not knowing whether she's actually dead or not. But no, they had to be like, guys, don't worry, she's alive.
Guesses in that direction, but obviously there will be a lot of lore to dive into. So Vase, if you're out there, maybe you can.
A lot of lore. 15 more minutes, groovy.
help us out and kind of tell us a little bit more about what's to come. Excellent. So that sets the stage, but we're also going to go ahead and dive into an activity here. We've got some gameplay ready to show on screen.
Let's get to it. Chop, chop.
Quentin, we've got a new activity that we're going to go ahead and release with Act 2. Can you tell us a little bit about what the
Court of Blades
is?
Sure. Yeah, Court of Blades.
Bro, the story's still good. That's not the problem. The problem is they are going to conclude these generational story with 15 minutes each act is so bad. It is just unforgivable. I think you're overthinking. No, I'm not. I'm not overthinking. You're talking about something. These are storylines, especially the Hive storyline from Destiny 1 that has extended. You're talking about orcs, the Taken King. And they're going to cram, like, we have 3 dead weeks that nothing has happened. They could have fleshed out and expanded the story. Even if we were to make the joke of 15 minutes, if you did 15 minutes per dead week, even adding to the story and fleshing out some of these beats, you would actually have a decent length. Like, you would have several hours, which is what they should have done with Revenant. Echoes, I'm glad they didn't do that because Echoes was just bad. Literally, I don't know what you're talking about when you have core, just some of the meat of Destiny history, and we're doing a disservice to it by, here's 15 minutes, guys. We're wrapping it up with 15 minutes per act. Wow. Gee willikers. So glad that core characters we have invested in. We're wrapping up Zivo Wrath, Savathun, and Orcs in 15-minute increments each act. Cool.
When we were talking about bringing back the Dreadnaught, obviously we're going to pay some sort of homage to the fan favorite activity, the Court of Oryx, that occurred in this space.
Yeah.
But we wanted to freshen it up. We wanted to explore, what.
By the way, this is the new seasonal bow. I've not actually done like a video reacting to each weapon specifically because I want to actually use the weapons, especially after I found out how good the sword is. This bow, even though it's a lightweight and lightweights generally are not that good, the combination of how destabilizing rounds and volatile rounds are just so juicy right now. Yeah, I am actually excited for a bow.
Does Destiny look like right now? And so taking that and adding to that a lot of the activities recently have been sort of longer form, maybe a little stressful. We wanted to create a shorter, quicker activity that...
All right, augmentation sharpened. Confront immune blade bearers to obtain swords that strip a challenger's protection. Okay.
Folks can just come and slay out for 10 minutes and have fun.
I do want to say I like the boon system of Nether. It does, you can literally just shape your build, and it actually feels more impactful than it did in Season of the Deep. So that's something that's going to go in my review, by the way. That is, like, I like the boon system much more. It's sorry, choose my words better here. It is better defined than it was in Season of the Deep. The boon system is so much better, and this seems very interesting.
Very exciting. So, as we go ahead and check out the Court of Blades, there's a lot of new augments available to players too. Actually, if we can really quickly look, there's some Hive statues around. Can you tell us about the augments?
Defeat casters quickly to prevent banishment, or fight your way back to reality. I don't know what any of this is. So we will learn.
The players are going to have available to them as they go ahead and try and build their loadout for this activity.
Sure, yeah. What we wanted to do was wanted to take some inspiration from the sort of roguelike things that we've been exploring over the last couple of years with Destiny, making sure that each run feels unique and challenging in its own way. And so what we've borrowed the concept of augmentations from Onslaught, so players will see those, and they're a little different in this case, where they provide challenges that players may be able to overcome.
I'm going to make a comment right now. I know I'm covering the dev's face. I don't think anyone actually cares. I could lower it to the dead space, but I don't think anyone actually cares about the devs. at least look staring at them. So I'm just going to make that very clear. I'm not moving it.
In other ways, so they're simple mechanically. A single player could go and complete the augmentation, but you might be able to just DPS the boss, pop your super, that sort of a thing,
right,
as a way to overcome that challenge. In addition, we've got sort of a randomized set of armaments that players will be able to purchase between phases. That will allow them to combat those challenges a little bit.
All right, let's say we unleash our fire team here as we continue to go ahead and sort of explore what this has to have.
We've talked about it. That's great. Let's see it. Let's see it in action.
There's also going to be some hazards that the Guardians are going to be going up against as well. You know, it's not.
This is Io. If you've never played Destiny 2 at launch or just the base of it before sunsetting happened, this is Io. I have an immediate response to this, but I'm going to let it play out. I just...
Not all going to be just fun and games and building your powerful loadout. Like these folks are here to go ahead and resist you at every turn. What's it going to be like building, you know, your loadouts as you go into this? Are you going to be able to just set one up for the week and move along, or?
Okay, these are melting that boss. Holy crap!
Augmentations, the challenges that get applied, start to stack the more that you play the activity. And so you might get a really good combination that's very easy for you to blow through. Sometimes you're going to get a really bad combination of a certain boss or a certain augmentation that don't work well together. But we wanted players to have some opportunities to maybe shortcut those, or maybe combine a couple of the armaments that they can purchase and find a really cool combo. And so the armaments will actually rotate on a daily basis with the hope that there'll be sort of a meta that generates each day.
I mean, that's fine. I'm more interested in the actual activity itself. I like. It seems like you're just fighting a bunch of bosses, it looks like. So like a boss rush. That is actually really cool.
And then refreshes.
So as we had our fire team hop through that portal, Nico was like, ooh.
I know.
What do we got? What do we got?
I had the same reaction, actually. So these arenas are going to take place, obviously, across the system. Nico, can you tell us about the eagle-eyed folks in chat, obviously, are kind of calling out where they believe that was. Can you go ahead and confirm to us where that arena was?
So the title of that area that you saw was Remnant of Silver. And that is on Io. It is
on Dark Slayer ammo generation. Defeating a challenging combatant creates a small shower of ammo bricks for all Guardians. Can be acquired once per fire team. Okay, that's pretty cool. Shower of ammo bricks. So it says ammo bricks, so I'm assuming special and heavy?
In the cradle area where the Tree of Silver Wings was. And as players know, we have
allied support turrets appear in all future encounters. So I'm assuming it's going to be like the onslaught turrets.
I've seen Mars come back. We've seen Titan come back. We've heard of Mercury.
Dark execution, damaging bosses or challenging combatants, marks and weakens them for all fire team members for a short duration. Oh, okay. Weakens them. That's
even though we haven't gone back.
I wonder if that stacks.
Io is really the only one that we haven't really talked about at all, and that's because
it's been removed from the game because you removed it. And not only that, the files are apparently non-existent, or they exist but they can't be used.
Io is still
in the current
trapped
state
between worlds, and right now it is in the Ascendant Plane, fully enveloped by it. And Oryx, through the Echo of Net, or as the Echo of Navigation, I should say, is kind of reaching out to these places of paracausal power, reaching out to Io for this place of darkness, Hive worship, as you see here. The Hive have.
This is the end encounter for the derealized mission, which I'm gonna say right now, I'm okay with them reusing that asset because that mission is fresh and new, and so if they want to use that as a battleground for this mini boss rush or whatever this is supposed to be, I'm okay with that. Like, that's the least of the things I'm going to bitch about. Like, I'd rather them do this than us use a lost sector for the 50th time.
Like massive connections to the darkness, obviously. And then one of the arenas that you haven't seen yet is on Europa, which is the first place that we encountered stasis through clarity control, and it is a huge font of dark energy.
I can see why they would want to, why Oryx would connect with those places, certainly. But no, it's really exciting to get to go back to Io. I think obviously Chad had the same reaction that I had when it was like it showed on screen for the first time.
I've been there.
I have a dual. Okay, so here's my opinion, and I'm going to give it to you. My dual thought process. First off, the lore connecting to the fact that it's in like the Senate realm, kind of badass. I kind of like the lore implementation and the connection there. That like okay, but at the same time, I cannot dismiss the fact that they're bringing back old assets that we paid for, and we're potentially kind of technically paying for it again. And then it's also probably going to go away unless it stays. But either way, I find it really funny that they're reusing D2 assets that they removed and they're not going to bring back. And I feel like that's going to be the theme for the future. Like the Leviathan, like Io. They're just going to paper cut like the pie, like a slice of the pie, and use it temporarily for content's sake. And that's it. They're never going to give the whole cake. We're never going to see it stay. It's just a little pie of the things that we've had removed. Be like, hey guys, remember Io? Remember that thing? Yeah. No, we're not bringing it back. But hey, you got this map. You got this map. So I like that it's been brought forward and it matches like the whole lore. I think that's badass, but at the same time, I'm going to be critical of it for the fact that it's like, hey guys, you're not actually getting this content that you want back. We're only going to give you like a snapshot. You get a slice of the pie. That's just my honest opinion.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
When we're going through these arenas, like you were talking about the challenges and the difficulty. With the Court of Blades, are we going to see similar mechanics to Nether, like the health scaling or things like that, or how's it different?
I don't see it.
We will not be seeing the health scaling and health mechanics from the Nether, so that's a bit of a load off people's minds.
Nice.
This is intended to be a bit more of a less stressful, more fun.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Bungie actually learned their lesson with the Nether. I think I have not seen more people complain about, and I'm going to say it right now. I think at launch, it was ass. I'm okay because now that actually healing does work the way it's supposed to, it's really not bad. It's not hard to survive in the Nether, but I get it that even the since I'm a veteran, it's easy for me to say that. I do agree that they should have made the Explorer mode, the more casual, easy mode, and less stressful. I agree with that, but at the same time, it's like, I thought the Nether was fine with the health part. Like, it wasn't the biggest deals. I just thought it was funny that Bungie's like, we balanced this. In their last dev stream, they literally said that they did multiple bounce passes on the healing, and then they immediately have to do another balance pass after it comes out. Like, oh, sorry guys, we found out that it's bugged and not working, but you just said you already balance passed it. Like, are you even checking your balance passes then? I don't know. I cannot tell you how much I'm excited for this review for Act 1 alone. It's just some of the things that they've said, just mwah. Anyways, I'm glad that at least casuals and new players can jump into this activity, hopefully, and it's more fun and easier to do rather than having to sweat your balls off. Because I think seasonal activity should be the easiest activity. If we're talking about raids, should be in Grandmasters as the pinnacle, that and trials and all that stuff, then like seasonal content should be at the very bottom. I think there should be a hard mode as well. Like, I would love to see a Grandmaster version of the seasonal activity. Like, imagine Grandmaster Nether. Oh my God.
Activity, but the difficulty does escalate after every 2 challengers. And so what we want to do, we've created these sort of light mechanics. You know, what you're not going to see is true raid level experience. This is not a replacement for Pantheon, that sort of a thing.
Okay.
We want it to be match made. We want it to be go in and have fun.
I think this is what people wanted.
The mechanics that you can buy as armaments sometimes will provide antidotes or shortcuts to the mechanics that you're seeing as augmentations. Some of them you may recognize from the Nether. Some of them are going to be brand new, and a few of them are actually going to be things that we've taken from some favorite old exotics, such as
taken, as we see on the screen.
Sure.
Sorry,
How dare you?
such as we've taken the effect from Sunbracers off, and that is a thing that you can actually purchase within
Wait, what?
this activity using the currency.
Who needs
and maybe
exotics when
combine
you
that
got
with something that,
runes, baby?
increases ability regeneration, or maybe you see a couple of arc flavored armaments, and you decide on this run I'm going to use those.
Yeah.
So it's about mixing and matching and finding what works on a
Yeah,
particular
a lot of chances
run.
to really exemplify your build. So also there's, in addition to kind of the standard run through that we're seeing right here, is there a
Adapt. Counter a challenger's regenerating shield by matching its elemental type.
higher difficulty mode available as well?
Sure, yeah, for people who like a little bit more of a
I want to read that. Destroy small blights to reveal a protector whose taken essence can damage the main blight.
little bit more of a challenge. We're going to have an expert version of the activity.
Cool.
Both will actually be a really good place to find the Act 2 weapons that will drop more often in both versions of the activity. But the adept versions will only drop in the expert mode.
Got it. Okay, so good reason to go ahead and make sure you got your build all tightened up. You're focusing on those augmentations and just really go ahead and try and slay out. I think honestly, I'm just going to steal your phrasing there because I can't think of anything better.
Sure.
To that end as well, Nico, we're going up against. You were mentioning at the end of Act 1.
I dig it.
We're none too happy with Oryx's answer and demeanor towards us. Who are we going up against as we go ahead and fly through this activity?
Yeah, so a little bit of a refresher. The finale, we walked in.
Dave, a little of everything, things from the past, things veterans know, a little bit easier, a little bit of everything. David, I don't know if it's because you spanned, but if you see the screen, it should be there. I see it on my restream. Little things from the past, little things veterans know, a little bit is new, a little bit of other with a dash of new weapons. Yeah, it's just got a little bit of everything. They absolutely should have put they seem to cater more away from newer players and casuals.
We saw the Echo of Navigation, and this is where Oryx learns that we killed him in the Taken King.
Yeah.
And his response is, "You killed me? Very cool."
Yeah.
I'm super into that.
I will say that was kind of funny. Like, it is kind of funny that we expected, like probably most people expected Oryx. Like, I didn't, because if you are savvy and a veteran, you knew Oryx he's a sword logic bro. And so I figured he would just want to die. Like, but the fact that he didn't expect us to kill him again or something, like he's like, hey, we're bros. It's like, so we're doing that twist.
Refreshing. I was like, whew, finally one less hive god to be mad at me,
Yes,
right?
exactly. So what Oryx is kind of doing here is he wants you to be his guy. You know, he wants you to take up that mantle of Taken King, and he's testing you. This is him testing his knife, right? Making sure it's as sharp as it's supposed to be. And while he is doing that to prove that you are the Taken King, Zivu is here saying, no, I want my brother back.
Yeah.
Let me give you another champion. She's presenting her own hive champions, trying to say, let this be a vessel for you.
Yeah.
Much like we saw in Pit of Heresy, it's a similar idea to that. And then Savathun, on the other end of the spectrum there, is saying, this is stupid. We should all just...
It's funny he said that, because so far this plot point does seem really freaking stupid. It does feel really, really stupid. I'm down for it, like, whatever, right? I don't know what other direction they could take to wrap up the High Pantheon story, but it does seem really stupid. Hey, I'm going to give you this champion for you. He's going to represent you, and then you can live through this guy. Okay.
Move on from this chain to the
Savathun's the normal one in this situation, by the way.
To these old ideas, we can all be free.
Yeah, Savathun's the good guy.
It does sound a little heretical, a little bit, yes.
No, I mean, we have to give a shout out. So Oryx has been kind of whispering in my ear through Nether and through the activities of Act 1. I'm assuming we'll see more. Of course, we've hidden the VO, we've hidden the subtitles and stuff to avoid spoilers. But I wanted to give a shout out to the voice actor.
So the voice actor for Oryx is Joshua David King. They did a fantastic job.
Fun fact, they didn't need to hide Ziva Raph's voice line because it's not in the game.
Every single time we were in the recording booth, all the narrative designers.
Moderator removed. Okay, love the content. I don't know who's the moderator that would remove your stuff. I'm sorry.
Our voice director, everybody was just losing their mind over.
I don't think. Maybe your phone famous because no one else has been saying anything.
The performance, it was fantastic, and I mean, you get to see it in the game. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's always wonderful seeing like Morla coming in, bringing Eris to life, and then in this case, Oryx is alive, and this is the first time that we're having kind of a relationship with the Taken King.
Yeah,
so.
Because we've been trying to kill him.
We wanted to make sure that we did
really
that
weird
character justice, and they didn't really have Oryx as a character didn't really have a suite of voice acting before, so we wanted to make sure that it felt true to what Oryx was back in the Taken King, as well as now with the Echo Navigation.
Evolving from just grunts of like, take it, and now it's like, yo, sword logic, you killed me, you're cool.
I'm more verbose now.
Yeah. Oryx has been really reading the thesaurus recently and making sure that he's got his vocabulary.
He's been watching My Name's By videos.
Actually, as well, really quickly, Quentin, I'd love to go ahead and check with you as well. There's new.
Turrets, nice.
We were talking about the shaping slab earlier as well before the show. What sort of additional enhancements are available there?
Sure, yeah. As people have seen in Act 1, there's a set of upgrades that they can purchase and slot in based on how far they have ranked the vendor that are specific to the Nether and the requirements of that, providing a free revive token, things like that. Court is going to get a whole new set specifically for it, as well as some permanent upgrades to help players deal.
I'm going to say right now, the slab is probably one of the most pointless things that I've really seen. I have not interacted with it hardly at all. Like, you don't need to do it. It feels, maybe that's intentional from Bungie to make it to where people aren't upset, whereas it felt like Fieldwork in Revenant was very shoehorned and forced. You don't actually have to do any of it and still benefit most of the rewards. So I could criticize it, but on the same beat, you don't actually need to engage with it like you did Fieldwork to really amplify your potions. You didn't have to worry about none of that. Here, it's its own thing. If you want to do it, engage with it, sure. You don't. I got no other critiques for it. Like, it's fine to me. It's fine. It's whatever.
Deal with the heavy and increasing challenge as they get deeper and deeper and try and up that score of how many challengers they can take down in a single run.
Chances for our creators to make some guides. Maybe Abontis can help us out this time around. We probably got something in store there.
They're just going to give an onslaught of content creators. I feel like it's like a paid advertisement at this point with how many these dev streams that they just advertise all these people.
But we now actually would like to take a moment to introduce another new face to our couch for the very first time to help kind of talk us through some of the weapons that are going to be available to you as we go ahead and kick off Act 2 of Heresy. We are now joined by the one and only associate designer here at probably the one and only Morgan Dickens, associate designer.
By the way, rest in peace, Chris Proctor. He's not actually dead, but he's dead to like Bungie right now. The legend himself is gone. So I'm pretty sure that he was the one that helped with this episode, with the loot being so freaking good. The LFR sucks ass, but outside of that, most of the loot is really good.
Here at Bungie. Morgan, how's it going today?
It's going well, thank you.
Absolutely. So for anyone that doesn't get the chance to work with you at Bungie or is unfamiliar with your work, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Morgan. I'm a weapons designer here at Bungie. I work on the origin traits and perks and just the general gameplay for the weapons. I did the Act 3 weapons. And
shout out to her because some of the origin perks that have been coming out recently have been bangers. Like I would say the most recent ones have been so much better than what we've had in the past. So shout out to you for improving the origin traits.
And the Telesto update, if that tells you anything about me.
That's true. So obviously we have Morgan to blame / thank, depending on what side of Telesto you're on, for the new catalyst.
There were some whispers of Telesto's broken on day one. I was like, what do you mean broken? And then it's, oh, you mean like good broken.
You're right, yeah.
I don't know. I think once particle the deconstruct goes away, I think, I'll be honest, even with the change, I don't think Telesto is going to be that good. Just give it like destabilizing rounds or something. That way it really feeds into the ad clear. It wants to be an ad clear weapon.
So good job. Community loves it. Thanks, chat, for shouting out.
Yeah, as we all collectively wiped our brow, and we're like, okay, cool.
Telesto's broken, and
Morgan hands us another win. So speaking of, we're going to have some new weapons. The folks in chat have obviously seen let's tell you about, let's go ahead and start with what's here on screen.
I'm not excited for the glaive, but I am for the bow.
New weapons joining, but can you tell us a little bit about the glaive we're looking at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So this glaive is Refusal of the Call. It is our
It's a
second
badass
10
name.
slot glaive that we have ever done, and our first strand glaive.
So this one,
I'll get it just for the fact that it's a strand glaive.
Glaives more often than I care to admit in the Crucible recently. What are some
Discord
roles we should be
sword
looking
logic.
forward to with this one?
What the hell?
So as displayed on screen, Sword Logic Discord is a very fun role with good ammo
sounds
efficiency
disgusting.
and really high damage potential. And if you're looking for a fun Crucible role,
What Discord on the glaive means is I started blasting. Just especially if you just throw it onto like a void hunter, you're just using the bow and procking volatile rounds everywhere, and you're blowing a bunch of crap. You're just gonna pull out the glaive and just start blasting yellow bars because they do hit pretty hard. So the problem is the ammo economy on them are pretty bad. But now Discord kind of doesn't care.
tilting at windmills and melee momentum is really fun.
Okay, that's what I'm going to
That's a good name for a perk. Tilting at windmills.
See, Redrick's stock is already tilting people, so Bungie, be careful what you're doing. You're triggering the PvP community.
Crucible?
Yeah.
Tilting your opponents.
Why do you stare right at me when you say that?
I don't know. But I do want to make another call out. So in Act 1, we were talking about, when you're going to the Dreadnought, it's peeling back.
I like
the
how
skin
there's
that's coming
bubbles
off.
everywhere.
We were just looking at this
I need
glaive.
to play with that
They all follow
glaive.
that same theme. So right now, you have a big sword on a big stick that's covered in teeth. Like, I cannot. This is my number one.
It is
thing
pretty
going back
badass
to
looking.
those Life to Go and grind for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. And I couldn't help but notice, obviously, there's a very, very scary looking new Void bow as well that our Guardian here has been using. Can you
Looks
tell us a
really
little bit
cool.
about this bad boy?
Absolutely. So Anamnesis is a void lightweight frame bow. This one's really cool because the origin trait grants charge speed, so dealing damage to enemies.
The draw time is already 500. How much lower can it go? Could this become a 300 speed, like the fastest bow in the game? Please make that a reality, especially if like runneth over or something.
And getting final blows will slowly just lower that charge time. If you're a bow lover and you have
I'm
always
not, but
wanted
I
to
might
take
be.
something other than Archer's Tempo in the left column, now's your chance.
Yeah, fair. I have my vault is littered with Archer's Tempo in that first column, so no, I'm really looking forward to that one. What are some roles? I think we've got some repulsor brace action going on, but what are some roles we can look forward to here?
Yeah, you can pair Repulsor Brace with either destabilizing rounds or demoralize. And if you want to take advantage of...
I was really hoping they put demoralize in the third option, because then you use volatile round and or destabilized rounds to proc volatile rounds, and then cause demoralize to proc, like double juice. But I guess that's considered more of like a raid grandmaster weapon, I guess.
Of that origin trait reducing charge time, you can throw a successful warm-up and impulse amplifier on it and have one of the fastest firing bows in the game.
Yeah, honestly, even having just gotten that roll on Exalted Truth like the other weekend on Trials, like I cannot wait to go ahead and pick it up for a spin with this bow.
The timing is impeccable too. Like last week on I think Reddit, there was a post about legendary bows, I don't use them very often, etc. But folks were going into the Nightfall with Monarch. Monarch. And I'm like, here's a new Void bow that goes with the artifact.
Yeah, but the thing is, the bow Monarch on its own can be useful and good, and it synergizes with Bolt Charge. This is a legendary lightweight, so the only thing that's carrying it is the destabilizing rounds. That is it. That's what's carrying this bow. That's the novelty of it. Bows on themselves are not in the same level as the exotic versions.
Yeah, that has all these cool perks. Maybe you'll have a new thing to use in Nightfalls when the sidearm comes around next week. Chat, yes, the sidearm is next week. Don't worry. But yeah.
Oh,
And so,
the
in
rocket
addi-
sidearm. It's next week, which I wish it was this week because I would grind for it. But thanks for the shout out.
In addition to those, so obviously,
I haven't been on Destiny yet, so I had no idea.
I think there's 2 more that we haven't covered yet.
Yeah, so there's a sidearm, a submachine gun, and a fusion rifle.
Exciting.
The sidearm is one of our first heavy burst sidearms in a bit. And
It's sexy.
got bolt shot on it, which, given how quick sidearms
It's
reload,
sexy.
is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Show it.
And you can also get sword
cowards.
logic on it as well. It's
Yeah.
always a fun option.
Who cares about sword logic?
Heavy
Show me
burst
the
sidearm,
bolt
is that a
shot.
2-shot?
2-shot.
Got it.
Yeah, it's going to be powerful. Again, I can already hear it ringing out, I'm sure, in my Trials matches.
Show it. Show
we
it,
also have-
cowards.
There's a new fusion rifle. Oh, here, actually, we got
So good looking, but it also like a heavy burst with volt shot. This is an arc weapon. Imagine if they put Rolling Thunder in it. It could also be used as utility with volt shot, just proccing and killing a bunch of ads. Oh my god, it would be probably the only primary, or not primary, yeah, it's primary weapon that would be worth running Rolling Storm on. Do it, cowards.
the sidearm up on screen. Let's hang out here for a second and just take a look.
Dude, it
God,
looks
that was
so
just
good.
I can't get over it.
Yeah, the design is really cool, and
Such a badass
the
design.
glow actually gets a little bit brighter as you stack up the origin trait, which is fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Super cool, actually. In addition to that, I know we were talking a little bit before the show as well. There's a new fusion rifle in store that sounds pretty terrifying.
I'm not
if you're
as
going up
excited
against
about
us.
this,
Can you
but-
tell us a little bit about what's in front of us right now?
Yeah, so Afterlight is another weapon that really benefits from that charge rate boost. And it's got a couple of fun options for DPS with that. If you're willing to put in a lot of work, Ambitious Assassin Reservoir Burst with that origin trait will stack up in a couple shots and will do really, really high DPS.
Breath over.
Until you lose Reservoir Burst.
Of course. Yeah.
And if you're looking for something simpler, you can always do Lead from Gold and Vorpal Weapon.
True.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. No one cares about Vorpal Weapon on 15 damage % on a boss. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're gonna use this for DPS, you're throwing anything that doesn't have the base. What? God, I haven't used my fusion in so long. God, what is it? The damage perk that ramps up the more shots you hit. It essentially makes fusions into merciless in its own. Like, let's not act like that perk is not the balls. It goes deep. I'm not excited for this fusion rifle. I might get it just to see maybe if I don't know, volatile rounds is very tempting. I just don't see using a fusion rifle for ad clear. But maybe we'll see. I mean, Void on its own is very strong right now, especially on Hunter.
This version of the weapon is one of the heretical arsenal versions. So if you're going into the expert difficulty of court, you can get some of these to drop as you're playing with your friends. It has the 2 perks in each column, and then it has the extra origin trait from King's Fall, narratively tied in. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandbox team, for the cool stuff. Thank you, Sandbox team, for the cool stuff.
Yeah.
But then also on top of that, you have your Tome of Want. So if you're just looking for rolls, trying to get more of the sidearm, the fusion, etc., these will be additions. You go and you get your slabs from the chests or doing the activity, and then you can use it in the court to get more drops, or you can actually go into Nether or go into Crucible or whatever and have a couple of those extra drops come in too.
Very exciting, yeah. And it's like, I don't know, I was getting like mini Plan C vibes from that one. Like, I'm super excited to see how I can work that one in. So the sandbox is always obviously rather going to be enriched by some new legendary weapons, but our good friend the Barrow Dyad is going to have some new additions to their perks as well this time around. For anyone out there like myself,
if it goes with Discord, yeah, I mean, I will say that Discord in volatile rounds actually for Voids for Titan synergy, but for general ad clear like Discord and Reservoir Burst, that actually might be pretty nasty. We'll see. Fusion rifles generally don't work as ad clear weapons. I mean, neither do glaives. They're more for the riot shield that helps plink at big boys. But we'll have to see.
itself, who's gone ahead and added that to their loadouts
I'm
recently.
giving all these
What are
weapons
some of
fair
the
shakes.
updates we can expect there?
Yeah, so Veridiad is getting 2 new Catalyst perks in Act 2, with 2 more coming later.
I don't understand the time gating, but
And some of the fun options there are 1 for all and target lock. Not many exotics have like damage perks on their Catalyst, but this one you can really alter your play style.
Yeah, I feel like target lock is almost made for that one. It's going to be super exciting to take that one out for a spin.
I want to try it out before I make like a review on it with all this stuff, because right now that is one of the most mid exotics we've had. It is just not good. So I'm hoping the Catalyst really crank it up and make it like very viable. That's my personal. Also, the fact that it doesn't have, it feels like unless it's really good on its own, if it doesn't have some kind of anti-champion capability, I feel like most of the exotics are just very forgettable. Wait, I think, doesn't it deal with overload? No, that's a shotgun. I thought it dealt with overload. Am I wrong?
I'm going to be excited to see what Maven comes up with as a build video.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out, Maven. Thank you very much for all your build videos. Can't wait to see some more, obviously, along the way.
And sorry, it'll be 2
yeah.
catalysts go live on Tuesday next week on the 11th, and then we have
Okay.
2 more coming in Act 3.
Cool. Okay.
So
still more to unlock, but obviously Veridiad's potential is starting to really continue to build,
And
obviously.
if you haven't gotten it, that exotic quest, shout out to our activity designers. Like, I was blown away. And
Nah.
if you have some problems with like kind of insects and holes and stuff, it's a little creepy. So be prepared.
It's really badass looking, but
And actually, okay, we're taking a look at Veridiad here really quickly. This is one where if the Guardians out there haven't had a chance to get their hands on it, as Dylan mentioned, the exotic quest is live right now, but coming next week, we've got 2 more catalysts that'll be hitting. So looking forward to expand that. And actually, while we're here in menu, we'd be remiss if we didn't take a look at our friendly neighborhood artifact as well. As has been the case with the Act, our artifacts have continued with another.
I want to say I have complained about artifact system in this game for a while. I still don't like the champion mods. I feel like they're doing better job of putting keywords like jolting feedback, stuff like this that automatically deals with champions. I think that's great. But I want to say that this is probably some of the best artifact mods we've had. Just like there's not just one singular one. There are multiple options that really, really impact builds. Jolting feedback, the volatile rounds, hell, there's even the machine gun builds you can do. Like, it is really, really good, this episode. I will give Bungie props because I have shit on them for having garbage freaking artifact mods. S tier this episode.
Or expanded, pardon me, with another row. Can you tell us a little bit about what we got? We only got 5, so I vote we go ahead and just dive in and check them all out.
Yeah, absolutely. So the primary theme for this one is trace rifles with a secondary theme of like element matching.
Okay.
So in the left column, you have overload trace rifles as a new anti-champ option. And then we have a new
Lodestar is about to go blow. I cannot wait. That means next week I can do a Grandmaster with Lodestar. And I can deal with 2 different champions. Overloads and Unstoppables, right? No, wait. No, I take that back. It could already deal with it. Because you jolt them. I mean, you could just do it on demand instead of having to charge up and activate it. But either way,
trace rifle perk, Beam Medic, where rapid trace rifle final blows heal both you and nearby allies. This is a fun thing to pair with the new detonator
pretty
beam
cool.
perk, which will help you get those multi-kills.
Yeah. Yeah, very looking forward
I mean,
to it.
Lodestar really going to benefit because Lodestar is really strong and it does pretty good, even like expert content. Master content, it's all right. I had to still use it in a Grandmaster content to really see how it vibes. But overall, I'm interested in this. I still think basic legendary trace rifles are not going to be that impressive, but we'll see. I mean, for base raids and dungeons, you can get away with it. But for master content and even Grandmasters, I don't know.
I'm just I'm already imagining how I'm going to get Microcosm back into my loadout. Honestly, already, I cannot wait.
Well, I have good news for you. Skipping ahead to the 4th column perk.
Okay.
Harsh Refraction. Trace rifles do more damage to targets with debuffs that match their element type. And this is always on for my.
I was going to say, all right, so Kinetic is going to be a very happy camper in that case. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, baby. By the way, I've done Grandmaster with Microcosm, and it's really good. Like, people obviously, it's a cut above Thunderlord, but it is actually pretty good. And I did like a run, and people were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're using microcosm! Like it's a sin to use that. It's like really good against subjugators and tormentors. Like if it's a grandmaster that has those bad boys in it, you should absolutely be running microcosm."
Any others that we want to look at before we go along? I know we have a little bit of extra time here.
Yeah, absolutely. So for microcosm, if you want to just really double down on that, limit break is the 5th column perk.
Ooh.
And it will get you increased super damage when you are either critically wounded and you cast it, or when you have an elemental buff that matches your super type.
Perfect. And actually, while we're here, we may as well just take a look. What awaits us in the 3rd column as well?
So the 3rd column is a new artifact perk that will help you get more access to elemental pickups like Tangles or Fire Sprites. Rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon that matches your equipped super will
Strand, that might be good.
One of those.
Perfect.
And it can be boosted by the Tome of One.
Very exciting. All right, so our
Strand sounds interesting.
Get a lot of additional mileage here. It looks like, honestly.
I got to give a shout out to our icon artist too. So like Prometheus lens is my favorite trace. Like laser tag weekend, some people
they're talking about Arfok mods. Give me a minute.
They're like, oh god, but that was a really fun.
I was going to say you were not one of those. Yeah.
Oh, I was so excited. We had Urk at the time reached out and asked, can we put Prometheus lens on Xur? And I was like, why would you do that? Yes. But yeah, with these perks, I'm gonna go out and burn down the world with Prometheus lens. Like microcosm I'll pull out for the boss DPS, but just for like running through court, running through Nether, I'm gonna be like, let's burn some stuff.
That's right. I'll have your back. I'll have the microcosm. You take Prometheus.
I had my
lens.
dinner outside,
it's gonna be a terrible day to be hyper taken for a little while.
Hit me up on Discord, and then I'll ignore you for another week. And
as always, I don't. Well, that's right. That hurts.
Hey, that's funny because that's usually what Bungie does to the community. Feedback. Just ignores them. Gets back to you in a week.
Okay, it's right in front of all of our guardians. Okay, so while we're also checking out the artifact, we've got, we teased at the top of the show. We're gonna do some Act 3 teases as well.
Oh, here we go, baby.
Can you give us a tease a little bit, or what the theme rather is of what that last row is gonna be?
Yeah. So the primary theme is rockets. We have a new perk that will help you clear rockets
without
needing to reload or spend ammo. And then there's a secondary theme of Strand with a new access woven mail.
Please don't tell me they're gonna make using rockets for ad clear viable. That is my go-to like critique of new players and casuals or people who don't know what they're doing in raids. It's always my inside joke about people using rockets for ad clear in raids. They're making it a reality now. Fuck.
Okay, very exciting. I cannot wait to go ahead and just dust off my rocket launchers too. Honestly, I still have my Apex Predator sitting around, and that one's been waiting for its time to shine,
baby.
So I think this is that moment.
Yeah. And outside of the artifact, there are going to be new things to play, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to have refreshes to the Nether and Court in terms of new bosses, new combatants. If you're familiar with the pressure events from Act 1, the blights that you have to destroy, there's new and devious versions of those that are coming to Nether. And then in Act 3 are featured.
So are you telling people that if you want to have an easier time, farm now, because later it's going to be more of a bitch? There you go. There's your PSA warning.
Activity is going to be the return of the Sunless Cell Strike.
Right, yes.
Wow.
Many Guardians who remember their fond
Didn't see that
days
coming.
of having that like huge...
Wait. So Act 3, so we got the exotic mission. They broke the cycle. Holy crap. Shout out to Bungie. I take back everything I said. That was the exotic mission, and that's why it's been time gated. Instead of waiting till Act 3 to do it, and that's just the mission is Act 3 doing that. Shout out to Bungie for actually not doing the same pattern again. I will absolutely give them praise for that. If we followed the same stupid ass pattern of doing the exotic mission 3 times for Act 3, I was going to lose my mind.
Huge batch of thralls running at you up the bridge. Now's the chance to check that out. But actually, we were talking about...
Wait, does that mean we're going to do the strike for 3 weeks straight? Please, God, tell me we're not doing the strike for 3 weeks straight.
The show. It's probably not going to be Alakul.
Yeah, Nico was mentioning, so Alakul was down in the deep dark dungeon hole and then became a light hive, the guardian hive. What do we
light
call
bears?
it? Yeah, well, it was light bear, and then it was like
the lucent hive.
Alatul is what you called it, and I cringed.
It's creativity's a process everywhere.
So with the light blade ascending, being in the throne world, doing their own thing, who is in the sunless cell now? And that's something we'll find out in Act 3.
Telgaroth.
Yeah,
I'm calling it right now. I guarantee, like we memed on him. in the final shape. Like, he's been a meme. It's Kelgaroth. I'm going to call it right now. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if there's leaks about it, but I guarantee it's Kelgaroth.
Very exciting. We'll have a chance to check that out. And actually, Dylan, while I've got you, I'd love to put you on the spot. In addition to obviously all this stuff that'll be arriving with Act 2, Guardian Games is going to be making its triumphant return as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So let me get my hand.
Before we see anything for Guardian Games, I want to say that Guardian Games is probably one of the best events we have. Like, compared to everything else, I always give more praise to Guardian Games because it actually has some different modes. There's actually viable, like, it feels like an actual event.
Handy dandy notebook here. Replaced the big one with the little tiny one. It looks like I take notes now.
He's like he's a reporter out on the beat.
Yeah, so Guardian Games starts next week,
Yeah.
March 11th, right
Wait, next week? Holy crap, this is going to be a busy freaking week.
at Reset alongside Act 2. For folks that don't know what Guardian Games is, we invite our hunter.
Hold on, I'm just looking at the armor. Dude, usually Guardian Games is like, sometimes they have some decent ones, and sometimes they have some and some mid ones. This is badass. Like, this is some really good looking armor. Holy crap, dude. The gladiator stuff, like, this is badass. I don't know what the rest of the hunter looks like, but I'm just thanking God that the hunters don't have shower capes. We finally got another, like, event or just class item that isn't shower capes. Thank you.
Titans and Warlocks to come in, battle it out, and see, well, who's best. We have a celebration in the tower. It's all decorated, and we'll have a ton more detail in the TWID on Thursday, so tune in for that. But I just have a couple teases of, we have a...
Please.
You put it best, bite-sized boss rush mode.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like a court. It's not going to be like a Pantheon, but...
Wait, so they're adding even more to Guardian Games? It is almost comical how Dawning does nothing. There's not even a single event going on in the Dawning. Like, you just make cookies. Wow, Grandma, have my cookies. Guardian Games had Guardian, like, matches and nightfalls where you're competing against each other based on class, and there was all these different modifiers. It was really exciting and fun, and just a small little thing to bring the community together. But you're adding a new... Guardian Games got a new little mini game mode before the Dawning got an actual fucking event. Holy shit, talkie.
now we have a challenge of, hey, go in, burn down some bosses, get as many points as you can, and then you can get some new rewards.
Lost frames. Usually Guardian Games armor is for Bright Dust. I do not give Bungie my money.
Yeah.
So when it comes to rewards,
Yes.
we have some really cool armor. This is going to be Eververse. You can earn it for free through Bright Dust. So go in and do your seasonal challenges, do your Pathfinders. There are going to be some weekly bounties that get Bright Dust.
Right.
And you can see that we're going with more of a gladiator theme, where previous it was like, let's go into sports, let's go into these things. Now it's like, hey, gladiators, you're going to go in, you're going to destroy these bosses, and it's going to be a really good time.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that Hunter Cloak for sure.
Seriously.
And then all players are going to be getting a specific class item to engage with the event as well.
That's right.
So,
Okay, yeah.
the Hunter is holding our new premier legendary weapon that's going to be coming out.
Right.
And now
I've looked at Light GG. If you got a rewind rounds detonator or rewind rounds jolting feedback, you've got the best PvE roll you can get. The only, and I say this, the only reason I would ever farm for this trace rifle over the Iron Banner one is because the origin trait is better, because getting kills essentially gives you ability energy, which is better than skulking wolf in my opinion. That's the only reason I would say. Outside of that, like, if you already have a good one and you don't want to waste your time farming for this, it's a skip.
pass it off to Morgan because there's some really cool perk rolls that you can get on there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had the Arc Trace Rifle in Iron Banner, which has more of a PvP focus. This one has more of a PvE focus to go along.
What was it really? What was it really? Because I'm sure no one chased for PvP. I can tell you that much.
With the boss slaying theme.
Yep.
It's got some fun perks in the left column, including Overflow and Triple Tap. and eddy current if
Yeah.
you just want to double down on the arc perks. And it's got a new detonator beam and jolting feedback alongside rolling storm as well.
Okay, this one's going to be a lot of fun. Oh my gosh.
Does it have a jolt shot too?
I don't think it has jolt shot.
Okay. But just
Jolting
like,
feedback
you
is
can go
better.
in and do almost every single arc verb with
Like, why would you put volt shot? Jolting feedback is better. You just literally draw a line on things and you're going to activate it.
this thing, depending on your role. So
Yeah.
better you do in the activity, the more perks you can get on these things. So double perks in each column. And then we have some returning weapons for Guardian games as well.
Yeah, Hullabaloo is coming back. That is the heavy grenade launcher that shoots the 3 waves. It is getting the new Rolling Storm perk, which is
It might be
really
viable
fun
for
on
that.
And weapon that can clear ads so quickly.
I don't know if I waste a
And
heavy
I
slot for
personally
it,
like
though.
pairing that with Demolitionist, so you have a easier access to something that lets you discharge bolt charge as well.
Yeah.
And then it's got Envious and Cascade Point as well, which is a fun roll from last year.
Very nice. Yeah, my dad's a big Hullabaloo fan. He's got one with chain reaction that is devious against all that's saying against us, so I cannot wait to see this one in the wild.
We also have Taraxipos, the Strand Scout Rifle returning.
It feels really good. Taraxipos feels really good. I didn't care for it in PvE, but for PvP, like, it feels pretty good. It's just Scout Rifles kind of suffer in PvP. Like, there's some like Fang of Iriute. Am I right? Fang of Iriute. It feels pretty good with like precision instrument or sword logic. It has its moments where it can pop off, but mostly scouts don't feel necessarily as good anymore. Even on bigger maps.
It's getting the new perks Lone Wolf and Tear. Lone Wolf explosive rounds is devious in the Crucible.
Yeah.
I was just having so much fun too. How could you do this to me? No, I'm gonna get one of my own. Who am I kidding? Yeah.
And of course we have the title coming back. And
That's right, the title. The title gets repulsor brace and destabilizing rounds. Oh my god, it's going to be better than Recluse. I have Recluse with destabilizing rounds and repulsor brace. But 720s do more damage, and they're probably the better version for endgame because of the fact that they hit harder. Oh, wait. Yeah, oh.
it will still have repulsor brace destabilizing rounds, but it's also getting recycled energy.
Oh! It's going to be amazing on Hunter because activating volatile rounds, getting overshield, going invisible, but also the origin trait's going to give you energy back. Holy shiitake, dude. Dude, that's going to be one I'm going to be farming my nuts off for.
And demoralize and to the pain.
Demoralize is like my favorite perk name from this episode because it's legitimately like, oh, you're all weakened now, baby. Let's go to work. But title is going to be great. I've been trying to get that for the last couple of years with a good perk roll, and now there's a bunch of really cool stuff to get on it.
Funny enough, that gun is probably being the most, like, no one gives a crap about that SMG because it's been really bad. But the fact that Bungie buffed the stabilizing rounds has made so many weapons just viable now. It is insane how Bungie just doing the slightest tweak and making something actually good has made it a whole category of weapons that no one would touch actually viable. Like, I'm actually going to farm for a title and not unjokingly use it. Like, I'm going to absolutely use it, meme with it, have some fun with it. It's probably going to be really good.
Yeah. So there's obviously a decent amount of stuff to go ahead and be chasing down in game between the new armor, the new trace rifle, and obviously the refreshed rolls. But Dylan, as well, I'd love to put you on the spot. There's going to be stuff out of game available to Guardians as well.
Yeah. So
tell us a little bit about what's available there.
Yeah, every year we have a Bungie rewards component. So big shout out to Natalie, our rewards team. But we have a really cool jersey that we're going to be offering.
Oh, here we go. Here's the money. I was wondering, there was no like MTX. Like, oh, they're going to do a stream without trying to sell you shit? Here we go.
This year. So go in, do your triumphs, earn your title, and then you can earn this really sweet.
And when they mean earn, what they're saying is you can earn a code to give the right to give Bungie your money. That's right. I love the word earn as if you're actually earning this. You're earning a code which lets you purchase and give Bungie money. It's just, I hate the wording and just the way they portray it. You're not actually getting this. It's not free. You have to pay for it.
jersey.
Yeah.
So there are going to be a couple other things that you can go in and get as well. But this is, I think you and I were talking about, hey, you go to a Sounders game and now you can have a fellow Titan or a Hunter show up and be like, hey, so Warlocks are pretty nerdy, right? So
why are you here at a Sounders game instead of reading a book?
Yeah, right.
That's my.
We also have a sample here in the studio. This is a large, just for folks that want to see it.
Holy crap. They want you to buy this shit. They are, who the fuck are you people? Where did they show up? Anyways, they'll probably explain it in a minute, but like, I find this hilarious that they're so desperate for cash that they're actually advertising in-house, like, here's our stuff. And it's not like a contest mode or day one, like, jacket like they usually do, and that's whatever. But the fact that they're advertising, it's so desperate. It's so, like, desperation.
Getting one of these early, huge win. So huge thanks to our
2025 Guardian Games.
Yeah.
Looks really good on the back.
That's so cool.
Thank you for my fashion corner.
I'm going to say, if you go to a sports game wearing this, people are going to think you're a Riri.
You know what? You've got more on the way, but we can also
You don't look as cool as you think you do, trust me.
Really cool to get to see one of those in person as well. All right, so now, as we've obviously had a chance to dive in, with a little bit of what is to arrive in Act 2, we've got some Act 3 teases for you as well. And so we'd like to take an opportunity here to welcome two new folks to the couch that we have magically brought in. We'll go ahead and start with the fine individual to my left, who you may have met by way of some of our Bungie Vidocs in the past, or if you work here, she's brandishing a small bottle of teeth, yes, actually teeth, at you during our team's meetings.
What the fuck? Why? That's creepy as hell, man. Well,
I'd like to introduce the one and only Nix Kinney, a producer here at Bungie. Nix, how's it going?
Hey, Andy, it's going. You owe me. No, happy to be here. Super surprised that you asked me to be live.
No, of course. Glad you could join us. For anyone that may not have met you by way of our Vidocs and is just meeting you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is you do here?
Yeah, I'm a producer here at Bungie, and I've produced a number of teams from activity design.
she's a producer. That explains why Destiny is the way it is. You have a woman carrying around teeth. That is all I need to know about the state of Bungie.
Free roam lost sectors, strikes to world art palette lighting, skies VFX, and most recently our sandbox weapons team with Morgan, who was just here, and my production darling,
That's right. That is a Charlie Brown-ish line for now, because we're going to introduce that in just a moment, I promise. But of course, we're going to go ahead and make sure and introduce right next to her, Rodney Thompson, a senior design lead here at Bungie. Rodney, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much. That's so nice. Anyone who may not have had a chance to meet you or doesn't get a chance to work with you here at Bungie, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Sure. I've been at Bungie for about 10 years. I'm a designer, and I'm the sandbox craft lead. And additionally, I've been the team lead for the Charlie Brown redacted team that Nix just mentioned.
Okay.
Very exciting. We've got some cool stuff to check out. Now, actually, Dylan, you and I were talking a little bit about this. There's going to be a new event arriving with Act 3.
What?
Yeah, this event is free to all players. Mm-hmm. It's going to offer something for lower skill for folks that maybe want to start getting into some endgame content, and then it's also going to offer some things of higher difficulty. I don't want to steal too much thunder.
Oh, no, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's tee it up.
Yeah, that allows us a chance to introduce it. Rodney, would you like to do the honors of introducing
The Rite of the Nine? Yes.
Rite of the Nine?
What?
So Rite of the Nine is our new event that we've been working on. Really excited about this. It is a limited time event that features our dungeons. 3 of our dungeons that are part of this event. That's going to be Prophecy, of course, because of the 9 associations.
Which is free.
Spire of the Watcher and Ghost of the
Paid.
Deep. So these 3 dungeons.
Okay, so this event focuses around these dungeons that you had to pay for. But it's an event that's limited time? Okay, so I guess it would encourage people to buy them if they liked it.
Dungeons, you know, we've seen a lot of reaction, positive reaction to the contest modes for our new dungeons as they've come out. And we were thinking, you know, what would it be like if we were able to go back to our older dungeons and experience that kind of level of challenge and see how things play out in, you know, these older dungeons with some tweaks and some tuning and some additional modifiers and things like that to really like bring the challenge up to kind of contest mode levels, right? So we're like, okay, we got.
So they're revisiting these dungeons that have been left to just rot. Got you. Though I would argue, why aren't we looking, which if we're talking about thematic, like prophecy, sure. Why are we going with some of the most recent ones, like Ghost of the Deep? I guess I get because it's orgs, but like, why the Spire of the Watcher? Why not the Shadowkeep dungeon? God, it's been so long. Why do I not remember what the hell it's called? Like, why not that one? Like, it's literally the Hive. It doesn't make sense. Or like maybe the Shattered Throne. I don't know.
Got this.
I don't make the decisions around here.
Set of dungeons. Let's really put the screws to our players and see what they can do in a hard mode for these dungeons.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we were like, well, a lot of these dungeons, they're.
He said it was free. The event is free, but it's limited time. I was listening.
There's a lot of players out there that haven't gotten to experience them because they can be pretty intimidating. They are,
Same thing with raids.
Mechanically a little more intense. They don't do a lot of hand-holding in the activity. And, they often require, or at least, incentivize you to play with other players, right? So we were thinking, like, what if we could take this event as an opportunity to introduce these classic dungeons?
I mean, thematically, it makes no sense at all. We're talking about, it would have made more sense than Echoes with the Pit of Heresy. Yeah, Pit of Heresy. Literally, I don't give a shit that people like, you can like Spire, but we can all agree the name Pit of Heresy goes with the episode called Heresy. We can agree it makes no sense to have a Vex-themed dungeon when we have a literal Hive-themed episode. Pit of Heresy, why wasn't that like the first thing, bro?
To a whole new audience by way of what we're calling Explorer mode. And so basically we've got new stuff that in ultimatum mode. We've got new stuff for players, or new opportunities for players to learn the dungeons in Explorer mode.
No way.
We have Eternity.
Chat. Are they finally copying the homework off of Call of Duty and they're doing a directed version? Are they actually doing a directed version of dungeons? Oh my God, Bungie's finally tweaking the new player experience.
Mode, which is sort of aimed at our middle of the road experienced dungeoneers. So we've kind of got something for everybody.
Excellent, awesome. Well, we've got stuff to actually show live out here. Tell you what, why don't you guys tell us just a little bit about where we're at right now?
Sure. So this is the social space for the event.
Holy crap! That's where Trials of the Nine was held at.
Eagle-eyed veterans might notice that this is the third Spire social space. It was originally used for the Trials of the Nine PvP event.
Yeah.
But it's been a while. It's been since year one since you could go to this.
It's a long freaking time.
We're bringing it back for the Rite of the Nine event. You can see off in the distance there as our brave/reckless guardian runs off into the horizon. You can see, there we go.
It's a death button intrepid one at that. So
you can see the Spire of the Watcher tower off in the distance.
Yeah.
That's cool. Indicating that during the week that we have this set for, Spire is the featured dungeon. So there's going to be one of these three dungeons featured during each week of the event on a sort of rolling basis.
That's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. So here we're obviously this is a familiar face as well. What
It's
are some things we're
Emissary.
able to get up to here? Obviously, thank you, Gemini. We appreciate the introduction.
So the Emissary is our vendor, and the Emissary offers you quests, bounties, rewards, a wide variety of things to do during the event. Like I say, it's all dungeon focused, but we're going to be leading you into those dungeons and giving you rewards for beating them on the various difficulty levels.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, I believe I see some weaponry here in the background.
Yes.
That's pretty
what are we
cool.
looking at
So,
here?
wait.
So for this event, we have taken 4 of the weapons from each of the featured dungeons and given them a big revamp. We've redone their perk pools, introduced perks that have come in over the season since the dungeon.
It's funny that this free event has a better attunement than the last 2 episodes. Why can't we just have this attunement for like across the board? It is crazy that we've got another reoccurring attunement feature that is still better than the seasonal content ones.
Dungeon was released and
Insane.
put those into these weapons and really given them a good juicing up as far as like the perks that are available.
Yeah.
And what you're
Hell
sort of
yeah.
seeing here is the ability to attune to these various weapons, just like you could during Into the Light with the light weapons.
Yeah.
So that if there's a particular one of these that you really are hunting a certain role, you can attune to it, get more drops of that weapon during the course of the event.
Very exciting. Okay, that's again, we see some fans obviously in the house here. So we've got, as you were mentioning, ultimatum mode. We can go ahead and talk a little bit about later. But as we noticed, Inspire the Watchers here, Nix, can you tell us a little bit about Explore mode and how you guys kind of built that and what that process was like?
Yeah, playtesting for Explorer mode was truly so cute because it required us to find people in studio who had never played dungeons before.
Yeah.
And that means we sourced folks from all corners, all levels, and made them equal in the name of
Holy crap, they chose people that isn't content streamers? Wow.
a dungeon. So it was really great to see them go through our dungeons and having us tune it so that by the end of our playtest series, I think they just grew into folks who were really quite adept at dungeons. And
That's great to hear.
I want to say can go on to even solo them if they wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great starting point. I think we were talking a little bit before the show, but Explore mode obviously grants the opportunity, one, to just learn, to just go ahead and kick the proverbial tires in the dungeon, figure out how arc attrition works, which we can see here in just a second. But for folks like myself who do really enjoy running dungeons, and I've only soloed one dungeon, but if I wanted to go ahead and really,
I want to say right now, the dungeons and raids, but mostly dungeons for sure, are some of the best content in Destiny. Like, that's the pinnacle of the shining feature. If Destiny did not have dungeons or raids, to me, I feel like the game would have died a long time ago. Like, activities are fine, they're fun, but the bread and butter is literally dungeons and raids.
get all of my strats ready for a solo, maybe a solo flawless run if I'm lucky enough. This seems like a great way to approach that.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, in the Explorer mode, you have some tool tips, so that'll give you some idea of how to navigate these puzzles, and also
Oh my God, they did. They made a director mode.
some waypointing to help you get through some tricky areas that you may not
They
be
literally
able to
did
find on
what
your
Call
own.
of Duty did with zombies.
There's a lot of
Holy
minutia
crap.
to always find in the
This is why competition is good. When other games do things that are better, like Bungie is learning from Warframe and has copied some of the stuff Warframe has done, and that's great. And they're even now taking from Call of Duty, and that's great. Like, innovation is the key to success, and especially when we're talking about new player experiences, Bungie needs to innovate. And so far, I love what I'm hearing. I want to see it.
It may not always be obvious which way to go. And so you guys, like we were talking about before the show, you actually built some new tech to help kind of establish those breadcrumb trails for the Guardians. All right, we're about to dive on in actually here as well, but very briefly as well as we go ahead and prepare to land, a brief touch on ultimatum mode as well. What are some of the key differences between those two experiences?
Sure. So while Explorer mode, of course, is aimed at people who have maybe not as familiar with the dungeons or never really given them a shot, ultimatum mode is for players who are familiar with the dungeons and are used to a high level of play. So they're going to be our most challenging. They're going to be at sort of a power level equivalent of contest mode. Cool. So you're going to be facing tougher enemies. And then we're also using some activity modifiers to sort of craft the experience and make it a little more challenging, but also just give you a little bit, require you to make a few decisions before you go into the dungeon or before you go into an encounter that you wouldn't otherwise necessarily be thinking.
I don't know how I feel about that modifier, which is meant for PvP, being in, and even contest mode doesn't have that. I don't know how I feel about that. It's whatever, I guess.
So, for example, we're using the not swap activity modifier, which basically means you need to keep one exotic equipped for the duration of an encounter. That's just sort of a way of saying, like, okay, we need you to really focus on thinking about this encounter and figuring out how you're going to tackle the challenges associated with it. And then both Eternity mode and Ultimatum mode are scored on a per encounter basis. So the higher your score in that encounter, the better the loot drop is going to be. You'll get double.
Is it like
double
Grandmasters
person,
where it's based on like champions? Like you get plat by getting all the champions?
calls and things like that. That's all based on deaths. So instead of being based on kills or number of damage phases or things like that, it's basically getting through the encounter with fewer deaths gets you a higher score.
Yeah, be
Okay.
as alive as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a
so
twist.
we're really
That is really good. I like that. Because instead of just like punishing you with stupid ass tokens, it's like, hey, you just want to survive because it's going to kill your score. Love that. That's a great change.
challenging you to do here is we're challenging you to go into this harder mode and not just execute, but also execute in a way that gets you a higher score, gets you better rolls, and of course in the
Holy, whoa,
ultimatum
whoa,
mode,
whoa, 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 whoa. Go back. Wire node. Locate the starter node for each wire and shoot them in order. Oh my God. It actually tells you what it is. Just walking around, even casual players can read. Well, oh my God. That's the joke. Destiny 2 players don't read. Let's be honest. They don't read. But hey, for people who actually want to learn, if you learn to read, boom, there it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're really challenging you to do here is we're challenging you to go into this
Defeat conduit minotaurs to drop pools of Arctrician. Step into pools to gain attrition, which allows wire node activation. Thank you, Bungie.
harder mode.
Thank you.
And not just execute, but also execute in a
It took
way
7
that
years,
gets
but
you
here
a
we
higher
are.
Score gets you better rolls, and of course in the ultimatum mode, you'll be getting a
It even tells you where to start. Bro, we need this in every raid, like yesterday. I just made a video talking about how it's not the responsibility for veteran players to carry and teach every new player, and it's not. I said it it should be on Bungie to figure it out, and they figured it out. Please implement this in every aspect of the game.
adept versions of the weapons.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So when you say adept,
Yes.
I mean, are they just adept, or do they have any special treatment, you might say?
Well, they are in fact adept in name and
Wait,
in
what?
functionality, but also they have the new treatment. So all of their weapons have
Adept dungeon weapons? Wait, this thing gets sword logic too? Holy smokes, dude. And it has enough. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm going to farm some dungeons.
have a new visual treatment to them that has 9 iconography on them, and let's see
look
here. Yeah, we have
good!
some, they're coming up right now.
There we go.
So this is a
That
great
look all right.
example of
That one
a
look
sort of
good!
baseline drop of new Pacific Epitaph that has the new visual treatment. You can see the 9 iconography on it.
Dude, the adept version is like it's literally it's lit into the light 2.0. And that's what this event is. It's into light 2.0. Bungie, I beg you, do more of this. Do more of this. I beg you. And do it for more activities in the game, not just dungeons. Make old content like this relevant.
You can also see like
Please.
it's got the color palette at base for it. So all of our weapons that will drop during this event will have a new visual treatment. It'll also have the new event exclusive origin perk.
Wait, what does it do?
Which is Gravity Well. This will drop on all weapons that
Reloading this weapon automatically. Oh my God. I just talked about how the origin traits are better and better. Bro, this is like shoot to loot, but instead of shooting, you just reload if you're nearby. But I hope the range is pretty generous. Like shoot to loot's obviously going to be still good, but this is like if you don't want to waste a perk slot, you have literally a perk or a trait that does it for you. Just reload, bro.
that drop during the event and is only available in right.
Oh my God. The rocket launcher, Cold Comfort, which has a really, really good roll, which is good for like people. If you use it, it's great for DPS. You can just continue to reload it and you never have to worry about running out of ammo if you make a bunch of ammo bricks near an area where you can just soak them up. Oh.
The 9. So it'll be exclusive to this event.
Very exciting.
And then I think Guardians out there, we've referred to them.
Chat, this is what happens when you make exciting loot. The crack addict and the Destiny community come out. That's when we're like, what's that loot? Oh, God, I got to get it. Oh! That's when the crack addicts, no, even if the game has its issues, the drugs, man, they hit hard. You tunnel vision.
As holofoils in the past. So as you're going in, you're doing the harder difficulty, you're earning these adepts. They're going to have the animated holofoil, giving that
looks
galaxy
so
background,
good.
kind of showing.
Bro, that looks so good. It's like the Fortnite Galaxy skin, kind of, but instead it's Destiny's version.
I ascended the mountaintop. I actually went and earned this really dope loot, and I did it in a way where I got my god rolls.
As someone who's still brave, or rather proudly wears his brave arsenal as much as he can, I cannot wait.
This
to
is
go ahead and dive into
fantastic,
this.
dude.
So, actually, as well, now that we're in explore mode, checking it out, Roddy, can you tell us some of the key differences, key changes you all made to make this a more accessible experience for new Guardians?
Sure. So one of the things you'll note is that we're using the in-world tooltips to teach you some of the mechanics. So this is something we've seen used in the Nether and in other places in the game so far, and we're continuing to expand that out as a teaching mechanism. So as you are playing through ultimatum mode, you'll see these tooltips come up, and we have them all over the place anytime a new new mechanic gets introduced.
Got it.
And it basically is
I will critique it though. Explorer mode looks really, really good. It's still not as good as director mode in Zombies. Zombies literally 1-for-1 tells you on your screen what to do. This, I guess, is for more of like, hey, you want to learn, but you also kind of want to have a little bit of freedom to kind of explore and figure it out. I think we should have two different modes. The mode for people who just want to kind of give a little hint to figure it out, and the people who just really want the handheld, I want to know exactly what I need to ABC put on my screen. I think we should still do a director mode.
A way to in-world see, like, okay, this is how this mechanic works. We're also using waypoints. Here's a great example of one of our teaching waypoints that sort of shows you, hey, here's where the path is supposed to go.
That's great.
And direct you in a lot of the places where there are, not as obvious paths through the dungeon, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like those tooltips and waypoints, we're using those in the encounters to teach you the mechanics. And we do that like the first time you see it, so that later in the dungeon, when you are encountering that mechanic again, you'll have already learned it, and you can take your time and read the tooltips, execute the mechanic at your own pace. One of the things we've done is we've removed darkness phases, and we've reduced the.
They removed darkness, so that means if you die, you can just get rezzed. Oh, you could self-res too. That is exactly what we need in raids. And like, remove wipe mechanics. Like, if you mess up, just let it the activity just keep rolling through. Like, if it would wipe normally, just keep going, keep the activity going. Like, it's just a natural reset. I'm thinking like Salvation's Edge, the stupid shape room. Like, if you get like 2 waves done, instead of wiping and having to do it all over again, you just wipe that one phase and you continue on from where you left off. That way new players can kind of learn how to do that mechanic. And I say that specifically because if there's a raid level part encounter that is probably the most hated and probably the most anti LFG, you're guaranteed for most parts to have it die. It is the Shape Room and Salvation's Edge. I think a director mode would be great because the more people who learn to actually do it by playing it and doing the game itself and not having to rely on people who are kind enough to try to teach you, you could go at your own pace and just do the thing. That's what we need. We need this, but for raids.
The revive timer down to 5 seconds in Explorer mode.
Very nice.
So that there is no real penalty for failure.
Yeah.
So if you're just trying to learn the mechanics,
Beautiful.
and you go in and you want to look at the tooltips and follow the waypoints at your own pace, and maybe you get overwhelmed by enemies or whatever, that's okay, right? Like, you can kind of take your time.
Yeah.
I think one of the things we've seen is that, a challenge with a dungeon, in addition to, the mechanics and the combat challenge, a lot of it is just, you have to sort of learn at a fast fast pace, right? And so what we're trying to do here is make it so you can kind of learn at your own pace.
That's great.
So that once you're comfortable with these mechanics, then you can jump into either Eternity mode or whatever with other players and know the mechanics because you've not been sort of pressured to execute perfectly the very first time.
Yeah.
See, this is a situation where for most veterans, this is very obvious what to follow this path. But there's like no indicator right now that you need to climb or do this. And I feel like we need to be more like handholdy.
In that first encounter, so you're connecting nodes in a circuit breaker to open the door.
Yeah.
And the waypoints are breadcrumbs, so it's like hit the first circuit and then you see a waypoint for the next in explore mode. So your ad clear aficionados, they are now learning or being given the opportunity to learn. Oh, this is actually how this pathing works.
Yeah.
This is how this mechanic works. So when you bring them in,
I just realized he just insulted the most casual of casual players by calling them ad clear aficionados. That is a new. It feels like that's some kind of Destiny 2 slur. You're an ad clear aficionado.
or when I bring you in later.
So why did you stare right at me when you were talking about ad clear aficionados, man?
No reason.
But yeah, it's like when you bring them into the higher difficulties of the mode, then it's like, oh, hey, you remember where those waypoints were? You were able to memorize it. You have this like memory. Now you can come in and execute at a higher level. It's
That's
aspirational
new.
content.
These were never in here. What?
Example of one of our shepherding mechanics that we've introduced.
Okay.
So basically, we hear a lot of people say like, oh, I want to take my friends through the dungeon that have never been before. A lot of these traversal sections can be really challenging. So in this section of Spire of the Watcher, for example, once one player gets to sort of the midpoint of this traversal section, we have these helper platforms that rise up from below.
That's cool.
So that a player who's maybe struggling a little bit with that section can follow along and continue to make progress forward.
Yeah.
So essentially the way I'm gathering is they want you to figure out if you fail after a certain amount of time, these platforms will just come up and like babysit you. I feel like that's fine, but at the same time, that's not teaching them the normal way. Because are these going to be a normal part of the normal dungeon? Are we going to see these handholdy things in the normal dungeon? Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah. Even though they may not have been able to execute the jumping part.
Yeah. Even a warlock can make it through.
Even.
I'm throwing shade. Guardian Games is coming up. I gotta
No, but he's right.
Get my jabs where I
Warlock jump
can.
sucks ass.
So I think I want to put Nix on the spot.
Yeah.
As players are going through this, like we have a bunch of rewards, not just for Explore mode where you're getting the normal drops and all that, but overall through this event. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get 5 new emblems.
Emblem for
Wow.
There it is. Yeah. Collectors
Okay.
ready.
An earnable weapon cosmetic
Ooh.
and a hoity-toity
You get a
title,
thing of teeth.
event exclusive title that you can get from doing some challenging challenges in ultimatum mode.
Yeah, it's going to require a lot of participation. I think we were talking about before the show. Like these are not ones you're going to be able to earn right away. It's going to take some time.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's gonna take some blood, some sweat, some tears, maybe an ambulance ride, everybody.
For her, a couple teeth.
On your daily playthroughs, it's like, here are my weapons, but then you have the overarching goal of like emblems for the collectors or the title, so you can show off in the tower like, I'm the dungeon delver. We don't have the...
I can tell you that there's nothing more useless than emblems and titles in this game. Please make them more relevant.
The name solidified just yet. But
It's not locked in.
It'll
it's not
come.
locked in.
That and Guardian
Well, I'll
Rings.
tell you what, speaking of things we do have locked in, so we've taken a little bit of a look at what's here at Act 3. Dylan, I'm going to go ahead and take this chance to put you on the spot. Starting very soon, or if not recently, Moments of Triumph are back as well.
Oh my
So,
God,
we just
moments of
walked through-
triumph.
Sorry, I just put that down. So
That was very authoritative, yeah.
yeah, we just walked through like
Moments
here's
are
what's coming in
so
Act 2,
pointless.
Here's what's coming in Act 3, and then here's what's coming with Ride of the Nine later in Act 3. Right now, if you're so inclined, Moments of Triumph just started like what, an hour ago, 2 hours ago?
Yeah.
We have some cool rewards that you can earn as you're prepping up for the next acts, as you're getting ready for what's to come. Cool cosmetic ghost. There's going to be a sparrow.
I don't know what you're talking about. Stress res. Like no one else has ever really complained about the resolution. I don't know what to tell you, bud.
That's going to be really fun to earn.
Nice. Actually, I think we can take a look at those really quickly
yeah.
as well. There we go. There we go.
Hey guys, Moments of Triumph,
So
you
with
get a
Moments of
shell.
Triumph every year,
and
we
this.
basically celebrate the previous year of content, ask players to go back in, check out your triumphs, get some of these things done, do some grandmaster.
And this is actually like a full-on camera. This is not a webcam. This is a legit like a $600 camera.
Masters, raids, etc.
Yeah.
And
Better
then
quality
you
than
can
your
earn some free
shitty
cosmetics
ass
in the game.
webcam.
Very cool.
On top of that, we also have our yearly Bungie rewards.
Granted, I could also spend another couple $1,000 on a newer lens, but not gonna invest that much. It's fine.
It's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I think I own
There we go.
6 of these at this point, maybe 7, but this is the 2024. And yes, I'm going to call this out for my friend Matt. 2024, because it's the previous year, not 2025.
Yeah.
T-shirt, which is really fun.
Why do I feel like this Triumph bullshit is just a cash grab? Like if they were to try to sell me stuff for the free Intellect 2.0, I'll be like, okay, that's, it's a free thing. This isn't even an activity or an event. You're just doing stuff that's already in a game to unlock triumphs, and you earn the right to buy their shit. It feels like we're just making random things up to make more cash grabs.
Fun. We have a sample here in the
Of
studio.
course you have
Thank
a
you again,
sample.
Natalie. Very excited. This, I believe, is a large as well. Let's make sure. Yeah, large. So basically my size. I'm 6'1".
Yep. There we go.
But yeah, you can get your customization on the sleeve of your gamer tag or your player name.
Very nice.
And then when you're walking around in the...
I will admit, the very first Moments of Triumph, or maybe it was Solstice of Heroes, I have the white shirt with the gold symbol. I still have that shirt. It's really beat up because I used to wear it. And I remember, and I know that we're going to tangent for the video, so if you're watching the VOD of this, like the actual recording I'm about to upload, story time. When I worked as an RA at college and I went to check in dorms, I remember one moment, and this is probably the only time wearing anything Destiny actually doesn't make you a loser, because most people will think you're a loser. Opened up a door and this guy's like, yo, you play Destiny? I'm like, yeah, man, I play Destiny. By the way, that's when Destiny was at its peak. And he's like, yo, you play Destiny? Yeah, man. Well, he's like, what do you main? I'm like, well, at that time I was maining Hunter, and he's like, bro, you gotta be a Titan. I've never been a Titan main.
outside world, people can see you for the nerd you are.
Yeah.
Shout out to the individual who yelled "Dead Orbit Forever" when I was walking around in my Dead Orbit T-shirt the other day.
Very nice.
But yeah, very frequently it's like you see people in their raid jackets, you see people in their Moments of Triumph T-shirt, and then when you purchase any Moments of Triumph related, the T-shirt, the pins, anything like that, there's also a special.
I just want to say, Nation, no hate to you. I'm just saying I'm not a full-time creator. It is fundamentally not worth spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a setup, because having a good setup doesn't make you a good streamer or content creator. Not that I'm trying to become like this most impressive thing, but it is probably the dumbest thing for people to do, is to spend thousands of dollars on the most expensive crap, because it doesn't mean anything if you can't have like viewers. Luckily, I have like 42 viewers who are checking me out, which is great. Some of them are from the channel watching videos. But overall, like, just a PSA to anyone who wants to, who is trying to aspire to make YouTube a job or anything, or a streamer. I'm not. Don't waste your money. If the quality doesn't come from you itself, no one's going to give a shit about you being 4K, crisp, clear. Like, I can lick your screen. It feels like I'm licking your cheek. No one's going to give a shit about that. I'm just PSA, interrupting the video for that. Just PSA.
Emblem. It's a gift with the purchase. So in game, you get a little bit of swag too.
That's really cool. I always love those shirts because
Yes!
of, like, going to a PAX.
We
or something,
love
it becomes this,
free
like,
emblems.
Secret language. where
Let
you're
me add it to the 500 emblems I still have and won't fucking wear, because you can only wear one.
looking around and see people with their different Bungie Foundation shirts on, or their different Moments of Triumph shirts on, and you kind of give each other just a nod as you walk through those hallways.
Yeah, so it's like you have your in-game Ghost Sparrow, but then when you're going through Right, it's like, I have my title. In real life, it's like, I got my title.
Yeah.
I got it on my war vest, I got my T-shirt,
Earned it.
etc.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well, everyone, we have
Unfiltered, if you're having issues, peace. It's free to watch. It's also free to leave.
had a very big show today, and so that, I think, about leads us to the conclusion.
By the way, I've watched my own videos, and 9 out of 10 times when I watch it, it's because you're watching it on a shitty device. You have a higher quality device, it actually looks pretty clean. The stream itself is a little fuzzy, because that's streaming. When I upload this video, it's going to be crisp and clear, and that's just the streaming thing, like the bandwidth. But when I upload this video, it's going to be very crisp, very clear. And that sounds like that's it, right? Oh, no, there's something else. What am I missing?
If we didn't have just one more thing to share with you. So obviously we've touched a little bit on some of the stuff that's going to be arriving with Act 3, and we actually have a sneak preview also of a currently in development limited time PvP mode that will be joining Act 3 as well.
What?
I vote we go ahead and just
Rejoice if you're a PvP main.
Here on screen. Let's take a look. Everyone, we'd love to introduce you to Heavy
No
Metal.
way!
Heavy Metal is a opportunity for you to go ahead and take out a team of Drake tanks against a team of Briggs, so you can test to see whether you're good behind the barrel of a gun or behind the barrel of.
Why am I more excited for the free shit like this in the dungeon rush than I am the actual seasonal content? Why am I more excited for the free shit than the paid content? You've got to be kidding me. This is badass.
Of a Brig, but this is one that just the playtest.
There's no shot.
It's been absolutely insane to watch.
Yeah, I'd say since day one of Beyond Light, players saw the Brig come to the game. And they're like, when do I get one of those?
Fair
and
much.
this is the answer from the development team.
Yeah.
But we had to make it a little competitive. Of Guardians have had their Drake tanks since Destiny 2 launch.
This means that Bungie needs to make PvE content where we can use a rig.
Yeah.
They're really fun. Let's see when you get into matchmaking who can come out on top.
Yeah. This is one that
Also, just a shout out to point out maybe the most obvious. This is a big ass map. Big team battles, 12v12. Please, Bungie. Please bring back combined arms.
we're very much looking forward to unleashing upon the community, but as you can tell,
so cool.
The Drake tanks and Briggs alike provide some pretty unique tactical opportunities that we're looking forward to seeing getting into the Guardians' hands. But yeah, this one has just been an absolute
no shot, man.
Yeah, and when it comes to like this is a PvP thing, we say competitive, but this is a goofy, like this is fun. You're
no, this is the shit we live for.
You're chilling with your buds, and it's like
I will. This is make this trials. Just 1 week. Give us 1 week where this is trials, and you're probably going to see the most populated trials ever.
Let's hop in a tank and try to do some 360 no scopes while we boost off of a ramp.
Yeah, we just finished a raid. Let's
Ooh, the snipe from the left.
I want to go for a movie of the week. Why don't I hop into a Drake and try to get a triple kill? Like,
chance.
Yeah.
There weren't enough sick flips in that raid.
Yeah.
Dude, this is so good.
Just how many 360 no scopes can we get into this thing? We'll find out. Does the Drake tank have a scope? I don't think so. But yeah, that's something we'd be remiss if we didn't take a chance.
Dude,
sorry.
Why is it the free stuff that isn't even the season stuff the most exciting part of this whole stream?
They just did a huge jump as well, but we'd be remiss if we didn't take a chance to show that off to all of you. So that for real activities coming with Act 2, such as Court of Blades. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I already gave you my final opinion. We'll do individual reviews of every part, but for the sake of this VOD, this reaction, live, you got to see it. My live reaction overall, the Court of is cool, but I'm gonna say that the Into the Light 2.0 dungeon event and this new PvP mode, which is all free and has nothing to do with the season itself, is probably the most hype thing I've seen so far. So at least at the end of Act 3, we're gonna have an extended season. I'm actually looking forward to Act 3 than I am more Act 2. And that says volumes. I think this is the first time where I'm more excited for a episode to end so that the good stuff can start. Is that bad? Because that's what I feel like right now. I'm like, I just want the episode to end so we can get the fun stuff. Like, I'm excited for that. I need that. Let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, comment down, subscribe to the channel for more. As always,